Hi, my name is Samantha, and I help ambitious, powerful. Hey, now we're live. Hey, my name is Samantha. To those of you who don't know, I used to be called Amanda, so I'm a bit in between names. But to my clients and the rest of the world, my name is Samantha, and I teach requests from women all around the world who struggle with fighting and with their kids yelling, screaming, losing it, and feeling really bad afterwards. So I am offering support now to everybody that's reached out to me and just to share the support. And I found YouTube has this live channel, so that's great. So we're doing it here. And today it is from a woman that reached out and it really, really touched my heart. Of course, she's very nervous to share, and but I find that it really helps to just open up. And I'm sharing in here, trying to keep her anonymous, of course, but still wanting to offer support to everybody on this subject. So I'll just read to you what she wrote. So, and I just want to say on the top here, right off the bat, I don't believe in those labels. Personally, I don't judge people who use them. And I get that when you're in the middle of it and that's your reality, and I don't want to frustrate people. I just want to say that I don't believe in it. I look at people as people, and and I find that to be the most helpful, not to use labels with illnesses and mental illness. I definitely have that too, and so did my mother, for sure. This really is, but I get it. To the person who reached out around that, she said, "So 4 years of my kid's life I've ruined, and again, they'll never forget my mental illness. It's something that will affect our lives forever. I think my kids are also suffering from mental illness. I talk about habits and different things. So, yeah, first of all, like I always quote Kung Fu Panda, and I've read a lot of books or listened to, and I know that people train to be coaches, and what I say this Kung Fu Panda 1, 2, and 3 have the most. That's all the knowledge that you really, really need. And I love the quote: "The past is history, the future is mystery. Now is a gift." That's why they call it the present. So I really, really get being stuck in guilt and not being able to forgive yourself for the damage you've done to your kids. And I just talked to my kid last night about it so many times. I totally freaked out. I can still see his face crying, sobbing, being totally a good connection. And it wasn't just me babbling on. And his first response was to give me a massage. Um, and so some of the things that stick in our brains and in our mind, like we've been at war and it's just, the pictures just floating around. How can we do this? And like, I could feel really shell shocked afterwards and be like, oh, man, just this guilt. Some of the things they don't even remember. Okay, so kids are much stronger than we think, and lead ourselves. We got to lead ourselves with love, right? We've got to love ourselves. We get to forgive ourselves to move on. Otherwise, we can't be that strong parent for them. And I know that doubt, but forgiveness is really the only way forward. And your kids, when I blame my kids, I still have that tendency, but I used to blame my kids and husband all the time. We used to laugh about it. But of course, that's because deep down I blame myself. When you forgive yourself, then you can stop blaming others. It's like blame spill. And whatever happened, I don't need to belittle mental illness and all those things. But again, it's just a label. It's us looking at excuses and stories for our behavior because we feel so sad about it. And it's great to have ambition. It's great to not want to scream at your kids. It's great to want to do better. There's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes our ambition stands in the way because we're not connected to the present moment. We're like in the past going, oh, we're in the future, I want to do better. You're here right now. You're a loving mother. That's how you're created. You can tap into that reality and you can connect with that instantly at any time. That's all it's about, getting to connection. So we're moving towards love, to connection, or away from love, making war. And that's the two roads we're on. And that's okay. That's the way it is. So just notice when you're operating out of fear and insecurity, when you're disconnected to your higher self, to your loved ones, and just acknowledge it and implement good habits that get you to connection. Trust. Trust that you're a loving mother. Trust his love if you're fighting with your husband, and trust that your kids are strong. Okay. And every 13-year-old that I know of, I know that there are families out there without drama and fighting and yelling. It's like, that somebody gave birth and it didn't hurt, but it's not part of my reality. But I love that it's there and gives me hope. But every teenager that I have known has thought that their parents ruined their life. and I screamed and yelled at. And I still get that, even though my kids aren't teenagers. I chose to leave their dad, and why did I do that? And all these things are coming up, and it's reflecting our own insecurity and our own judgment, right? So nobody can really judge us or kids. It's your judgment upon yourself. You feel that you've ruined their life. That's you feeling that, and that's okay. But it's not your kids feeling it. And bad habits, yes, I thought about it today. So I show my kids a lot of bad habits all the time, but I also show them good habits. Like, and that's all I can do, right? So I go swimming, I take them with me. I go jogging. Now my son's jogging, and I sit and do these things that I wish they were doing, like painting. They're supposed to do it, cardboard box things, but for some reason, the more I want them to do things, activities I want them to do. But anyways, I sit down and do it because here's my thing: if they're mirroring all my bad habits, then they're mirroring all my good habits too, and that's all you can do. It's like it's the same when we play soccer, right? You go or your competitive sports. Celebrate your victories, let go of your losses, right? Don't get attached to. Focus on one good habit at a time. And for this is such a big chunk that I got from this woman that I'm coaching here today with her in my mind and my heart. Forgiveness and trust. You get to forgive yourself to be the parent and the calm, loving leader that you are. Please, that's how you're leading your love life. That's how you're leading your life. The past is history. I know it sounds silly to keep quoting Kung Fu Panda, but literally, I say this all the time. And I think it's Arf-Kapu. Oh, Arf-Kapu. Always remember Kung Fu Panda. Something. Just remember it. Like, so next time the day goes on and something happens and you break down, just have one go-to. Like when in my teaching, we practice 12 steps, but one at a time, right? And just have go-to. So it starts with admit and acknowledge. So we can actually say that there are 10 steps because the first and 12th is something you do continuously. The first one is admit and acknowledge. Kind of like, hey, hi, my name is Amanda. I used to say that. I'm a recovering angry wife, recovering angry mom. And step number 12 is fail and recommit. And it requires a level of honesty too, because we can either stay in the story that's somebody else's fault, but just fail and recommit. With our kids and losing it, it's not much. We can't point our fingers to many other people than ourselves. So the important part here, next time something happens, a breakdown, go to forgiveness and go to trust. You're created and you are a loving mother. That's where all your powers are. Don't beat yourself down for the journey that you're on and the obstacles and the struggles. So belief is the most powerful tool, right? So we don't believe it. That's the whole problem. Like we see the evidence and we lose belief, right? But you have a knowing inside of you. We all have a truth inside of you, right? You get to be rich and have a great house. And you also have a knowing inside of your heart. Listen to that knowing, and notice when you're listening to your fear and your insecurity. That's there too, and that seems really real, but it is insecurity, right? So which is what's the truth, right? The truth is what you choose it to be. You can choose love all the time. So when you feel insecurity, here's a practice that I do with my clients, and it's mostly in relations to couples counseling and leadership, but we call it Sarah. You can name it, whatever name we figure out in our coaching. So I had this client and she really benefited from it. She had this very dominating mother and she was super insecure and it really, really helped her. So we call it Sarah. So when insecurity comes up, it tells you you're a bad mother or you're suffering from mental illness, you'll never get better, or whatever, you've ruined your kid's life. I that feeling, I can relate to it. Okay. And just look at how do you judge me? Like I shared everything. How do you judge me? There's nothing you've done that I haven't done. So why are you judging yourself worse than you're judging me? Think about that for a second. Like I talked to nobody that heard all my stories that judged me in any way with any prejudice or anything, guilt or anything. So think about why you're judging yourself like that. Think about how you treat a friend and how you get to be your best friend, right? So anyway, when you get insecurity coming up, here's a fun methodology I use in my training. So you just go, hi, Sarah, you're there. Good to be back. And you call it any name you want. If Sarah's your own name, maybe you don't want to use that. Um, and just recognize that it's there. Ah, good to see you. I knew you'd be back, because our insecurities or whatever we call it, it's part of us. And when we get stressed and when we'll always go there, we can't just get rid of them. But just acknowledge and say, hey, and you feed, it's a monkey that we call Sarah. Feed them some bananas. Feed Sarah some bananas. Say, hey, good to see you. Here's some bananas. I'm taking over the driving wheel here. Okay, good to see you though. I'm going to be driving because when Sarah's driving here, when insecurity is driving, I always drive off a cliff into a huge pity party. I crying for days, reliving a divorce that never happened, or like taking everything in the future into the present that I'm scared of and living it, or staying stuck in the past. All these things happen when insecurity is in the driver's seat of your life. Just notice it. Notice, woo, I'm driving off a cliff now. Let's take the steering wheel back. Let's lead myself with love and trust. And for parents, and for you who wrote to me, that ultimate trust is, let's drag everything go, is that you are a loving mother and the past is in the past. So the definition of, from the great book, Course in Miracles, the definition of fear is thinking that the present, past, and the future will be like the present. So you lock yourself in and you don't let in a new moment. And every new moment has millions of possibilities, endless possibilities. But we stay stuck in fear and repeat the same thing over and over again. I can handle my job, just not real life. Here's what I want to say about that. Like for me, I'm also wondering, why is my company not worldwide huge? Why don't I have 120 clients all over the world like I know I'm supposed to and capable of? Why am I not helping and serving more? Because I get to start with my own family, and that's the most important. I get to make love, not war, in my own family, with my siblings, with my boys, so that they don't fight. I mean, before I get that down, I don't think anything else will grow. So priorities, get my priorities straight. Another great thing I learned from my husband, now ex-husband, is just to get your priorities straight, and you can handle jobs are way easier than kids and love life, right? So for me, that's, the jobs are the easy part. The hard part is your family. So I look at my day and what's important, getting my kids out the door with love, and every time they connect, that's the most important. When we start prioritizing that instead of work and success at work or handling work, it falls into place, I believe, at least what I experienced. So you can handle your job, just not real life. I get that, and I get that feeling. Maybe this is more extreme for you. It definitely sounds like it when I read through it, but we all feel that way. And just think about one thing that you want to create in your family, in your relations to your son, and practice that one thing and envision it already being there, because the mind doesn't know how to differentiate between fantasy and reality. And no matter what's going on in our mind, that's what we attract, that it comes in, right? So that's what we're drawn to, and that's what we see. So when your kids are screaming at you, you ruin their life, that's because that's how you feel, that your judgment of yourself. That's on bad habits and how to act. You just push that under the table. So if you feel like you're pushing something under the table, be honest about judging yourself. Just admit and acknowledge. So these are more small scale things than what this one will share, what you shared with me. So mommy shouted, I shouldn't have. Move on. Don't stay in the story and the excuse. And so you're rushing something to the table with honor and vulnerability about yourself, but as a leader, not like as a complete, pity parties disconnect us as well. So blaming, complaining, and with moms, it's towards ourselves, blaming ourselves, complaining. In the past happened, you can't look back. So get rid of that feeling that you've ruined their life. You're gonna keep re-seeing that. It's gonna come up for you. Just look at it like it's done. It's happened, right? There's a moment right now. There's endless abundance of love. There's endless love. There's trust is a choice that you get to take over and over again. So we all have our different perceptions of reality. You keep in the basement that we're living, all these things were real for her. Her twin sister had the complete opposite reality experience. So you don't know what your kids really feel, and you don't have to really think about it unless you're in a connection and a dialogue with them and asking them. But start by making love inside of yourself. Start by leading yourself with love in order to get into that connection. And whatever they scream and shout, security and versus love, trust. So trust that you are a loving mother, forgive yourself, move on, and don't worry about all that so-called mental illness. We are who we are. You're beautiful, wonderful as you are. Your kids are learning so much from the way that you are. And this is all God's will. It's all part of the journey. There's nothing right or wrong. There's good in everything. Just tap into it and see it. Forgive yourself, and you're so much stronger for every experience that you have. It just doesn't seem like it right now, but you are. Everything you've learned, when you apply honesty to it, and when you let go of fear of judgment, when you let go of judging yourself, you have nothing to be ashamed about. When you get that and you step out, and honesty is that torch, is that flashlight on all our secrets that relieve us from anything shameful. And then we take our power back. So apply honesty under the table, whatever you feel is under the table, say it out. Doesn't matter how it comes out, just get it out and get it out of your system. Share what you least want to share, because you're setting yourself free to be the loving leader that you are. Lead yourself through and out of shame with that torchlight, that flashlight, and honesty. Just, it seems like, oh, I don't want to say it's terrible, and we don't, but when you do, it's such a relief. Just be honest. It's so much easier and faster. So whatever that is, you feel like you've put on the table, apply honesty. You'll be so relieved. And you did great. You did the first big important step to acknowledge your problems to me. So I thank you for that. And just know there's nothing you've done that we haven't done. There's nothing that you did worse than anybody else. Okay, you're not alone. So that's what I wanted to say today. And thank you so much for reaching out. And I hope that this was useful for other people. You can subscribe and share with mothers who need this. I'm also talking into leadership and relationship, which is also a great topic of mine. Leave a comment below if this helped you, if this landed for you. It's new for me to do this on YouTube. I also have a 5-day communication transformation. I'm going to share a link to that. That really helps with landing communications with our husband and kids so that we don't nag at them all the time. And more tactical stuff, but it also has some big aha transformations. So I'll leave a link to that. But otherwise, let me know what I can help you with. I have tons of material. This helped a lot of people, instantly changes their life like that. From blaming and complaining to just having love in a relationship. So don't hesitate to reach out. Have a great day. Bye-bye.